Sabay ko na po yung garnish. Tapos lang magulit eh. Anong oras na ba ito? Lahat? Kaya tapos nakakailan pala kasi pala ko yung bensin na kayo asin. Wala ko andito. Dapat ang sarap yung hangin.
suway?
Get ready to be taken on a tropical journey through the most beautiful destination that I have come across in all my 3 years of travel. This right here is the Philippines. Having spent almost 4.5 months, 3 separate visits in the country, I've seen and done a lot of things here, and because of my recent trip here, it was time to update my top 10 to the Philippines with the 2.0 version. Strap yourself in and get ready for what will be your next tropical adventure. And because of my recent trip here, it was time to update my top 10. Let's hop right into it with number 10. Cresta de Gallo. This is going to be an island that 95% of you have never heard of before. The reason being because, well, it's probably just about the hardest island you can ever try to get to. I spent about 3 days of travel just to get here. There were no given routes. You basically had to completely wing it and just show up, hope that everything would work out. But one of the great things about traveling the Philippines is that the locals will stop what they're doing in a heartbeat to try to help you out. So getting around even the off the beaten path kind of places is still possible here, but you really need to want this. So why should you go out of your way to find Cresta de Gallo? Well, I think the drone shots will speak for themselves. When you show up on this island, you feel like you're on Castaway. You feel like you are stranded in the middle of nowhere. You might as well start screaming Wilson because there ain't no one coming. We were fortunate enough that day to have had the sun on our side, and we got a remarkable sunset. We watched it on this narrow white sand beach. Cresta de Gallo is for those who are willing to go the extra 1,000 miles to see true beauty. Now, let's move on to number 9. Number 9 is one that most of you know very well and have seen on your Instagram as it's currently blowing up, and that is beautiful El Nido. El Nido is one of the most talked about destinations in all of the Philippines, and with that being said, that's why it's not making the top 3 and not even the top 5. I'm putting it all the way at number 9 because right now El Nido is facing a very well-deserved tourism boom. This place is Avatar meets your craziest dream. Incredible, dramatic limestone mountains just jutting out of emerald blue waters. It really makes no sense how everything that's beautiful is in one place, but that is what El Nido is all about. El Nido is particularly well known for its island tours. You've got Tour A, which is probably the most popular, where you get to see Small Lagoon, you get to see Big Lagoon. Out of my 3 trips to the Philippines, I've been to El Nido every single time, 3 years in a row, and I've seen that constant increase in tourism. If you're in a large enough group, my recommendation is to actually just rent out your own private boat. The big advantage to that is that you don't need to follow the path that everyone else is following. And one of the great things of having your own private group is that you can call the shots. You don't need to follow everyone else. You can just go to your own islands and make your own adventures. After seeing Small Lagoon, we actually asked our driver just to take us to a private island. We had lunch on this island, pretty much just us and another boat. Overall, that was for me the best way to enjoy El Nido. But one warning is that you might miss out on the social atmosphere that can happen when you have a great tour group. I've also had one of my best ever dives here in El Nido. I saw barracuda, sea turtle, I believe I saw a seahorse, a bunch of other incredible marine life. This was definitely a remarkable diving spot. There's one other thing that you cannot miss if you go to El Nido, and that is the beach called Nakpan, the most beautiful beach in the entire world. Number 8 is the island of Bohol. Bohol is one of the most diverse islands you will see. High-end hotels, hostels, everything is here in Bohol, and that is one of the reasons I love it so much. Whether you want to spend your day on the beach or go and explore the beautiful chocolate hills, there's so much that can be seen and done here. Not to mention, this is home to one of the most unique creatures you'll ever come across. It looks like a monkey that had a baby with an alien. It's called a tarsier. They're very, very nervous. Do not use a loud voice. Be very quiet, otherwise they literally could drop dead from a heart attack. I'm not joking. There are 2 main parts of Bohol. There is Anda, which is in the north, and I thought it was beautiful. I really love this blue hole we found, but I gotta say, the beach up in the north, when I was there a year and a half ago, was very dirty. Hopefully they've taken care of that. And in the more southern tip of the island, you have Alona Beach, and this is probably where I would recommend you stay. All sorts of different hotels and accommodations, pretty good food, pretty good nightlife, and it's a great place to start your day trip if you're going to be doing the Tarsier Chocolate Hill day trip. That can all be done in one day. It's one of my favorite day trips that I've ever had. Now, number 7 is definitely for all you lovers out there. This is the secret hideout of Palawan. Port Barton is in between El Nido and Puerto Princesa, and it's only about a 4-hour drive away from El Nido. It's definitely one of my recommended places for you if you're the kind of person that wants to relax, that wants to have a romantic retreat and do a whole lot of nothing. How I best describe Port Barton is candlelit dinners on the beach and lights out by like 9 p.m. There's a couple bars on the beach, so it's not to say everything shuts down. Unfortunately, my time there was very limited, and I did not get to do the island hopping tour, but I've heard it's one of the better ones, so definitely try and check that out. There's also known to be a lot of sea turtles in this area, so do a bit of snorkeling, and you may very well encounter yourself with one of those dudes. Finding Nemo. Alright, for number 6, I'm actually going to do a 2-part because these 2 islands are very close by and they would definitely make an incredible trip. But let's start it off by talking a little bit about Tablas, a place that is literally so unknown that I have to say I feel a little bit proud that I even found it. Tablas is a dormant but beautiful island. It's made for you to explore. Bring your friend, get a scooter, and go explore this island because it has so much to offer. Incredible white sand beaches, beautiful sunsets, you will find it all here in the island of Tablas. And one of my major finds on this island here was this resort right here named Footprints. If you're going to Tablas, they are my number 1 recommendation. Now, just a short 1-hour boat ride away from Tablas is the island of Romblon, and on Romblon is one of the most beautiful beaches I've ever seen. This is Bon Bon Beach. These are the moments that live with you for the rest of your life, and it made coming all the way off the beaten path completely worth it. With that being said, it's actually not that hard to get here. Even though these 2 islands are definitely off the main tourist path, they are actually super easy to get to. I flew direct Manila to Tablas in like an hour and 10 minutes using Cebu Pacific. And Cebu Pacific is the number 1 airline in the country. They were my go-to airline for my travels across the Philippines. And the awesome thing is they even fly internationally to places like Seoul, Hong Kong, Singapore, Bangkok, and even Australia. I definitely recommend taking a bit of a wild card on your next trip and trying out these 2 islands. Number 5 is the extremely underrated Dumaguete. And I've actually had the pleasure of going to Dumaguete on 2 separate occasions. And the great thing about Dumaguete is not necessarily Dumaguete itself, but what surrounds it. It has Apo Island, which literally means Sea Turtle Island. It has Sikihor Island, which is a remarkable voodoo witchcraft island that has slowly become more popular by tourism. It's also relatively close to one of my favorite discoveries in the entire country, known as Manjuyud Sandbar, or as I tried to coin it, the Maldives of the Philippines. And there's one particularly great day trip in Dumaguete, and that is Casaroro Falls. Now, I just name-dropped a ton of places, and that's probably a little overwhelming, but the great thing is I've actually created an entire travel video guide for the Philippines. So if you're curious about that, I have a free preview to the guide down below. It covers everything you could possibly need to know, everything from safety, transportation, hotels, the best must-see hidden gems, and it'll definitely get you a great head start for your upcoming trip. I put my heart and soul and everything that I learned over my past 3 trips to the Philippines into this one guide so that you can make the most of it. So definitely go check that out. Number 4 is Bantian Island, one of the islands I love most in the entire world. This is like Boracay before Boracay blew up. Bantian's not exactly the easiest island in the world to get to, but the slight challenges that come with getting there are 100% worth it. That seems to be a trend here. The more you put into getting there, the more you're going to enjoy it. And typically it also means the less people that will be there. And if you're like myself, it's great to have a beautiful white sand beach to just yourself and have.
ก่อนจะถึงก้าวสำคัญคุณต้องการช่วงเวลาสั้นๆที่ให้คุณเติมความมั่นใจดื่มเพื่อพร้อมสู่ก้าวต่อไปที่ไกลกว่าน้ำดื่ม Nestle Pure Life ทุกหยดสะอาดใสบริสุทธิ์เป๊กมั่นใจน้ำดื่ม Nestle Pure Life เท่านั้น
From Nestle คุณชอบจุฬาเฮิร์บลุคไหนลุคดูสวยสว่างใสใช้จุฬาเฮิร์บดีครีมแตงโมหรือลุคดูสวยเนียนเสริมด้วยคุชชั่นแตงโมจุฬาเฮิร์บไม่ว่าจะลุคไหนดูสวยใสหรือสวยเนียนก็ไม่สู้รีบลุกไปซื้อจุฬาเฮิร์บนะคะจุฬาเฮิร์บ
A handful of other people. For me, that's what travel is about. It's about experiencing the things that few others have seen, and Bantian is certainly one of those places. You'll definitely want to rent a motorbike because the island could probably take you as much as like 5 to 6 hours just to go around. It is definitely a full day trip just to scratch the surface of this island. The people of the Philippines are extremely kind, and it doesn't matter what road you follow down. Typically, they always greet you with a massive smile, and don't be afraid to pull over and actually have a conversation with them. I remember in Bantian stopping at a random little market and just sitting down and having a beer with a few of the guys. Even though there was a bit of a language barrier, they really appreciated me making the effort to talk to them, and for me, it was one of the highlights of my entire day. So definitely try and make friends with the locals. A couple of the notable locations on the island are this abandoned building here, right on the water, and in typical Philippines nature, we have got some incredible blue water with the saturation on full boost. It's definitely a very relaxing island, so enjoy a world-class sunset in one of my favorite islands in the entire world. Alright, we are now heading up to the podium. The bronze medal, number 3, is going to Badian. Nothing but beautiful blue water that's formed its way through the rocks. You can do some incredible cliff jumps into the canyon. The water has even eroded away at some of the rock, and it's made for some crazy water slides that go right into the refreshing waters. Now, you would think this would be the end of the experience, but there is actually a cherry on top, and that is at the very end of the canyon. You arrive at what is the greatest waterfall that I think I've ever seen. This right here is Kawasan Falls, also known as the Gatorade Factory. Weather dependent, when you visit, the bluest of waters will be flowing into this little area at the very end, and this is the result. It's definitely becoming a bit more of a mainstream destination, so try to coordinate and figure out the low times to visit, but even if you have to share it with other people, this is still an unforgettable experience. Now, most people would celebrate if they got a silver medal, if they made the podium, but Karan, please don't cry. You're still extremely beautiful. Number 2 is going to the dreamy island of Karan. Look at these drone cliffs. Look at these lagoons. Look at this water. It is very similar to what you saw in El Nido, but the remarkable thing about Karan is that it's not as busy as El Nido. So everything that was great about El Nido is here, but with less tourism. Only 2 of the 11 lakes on the island are accessible to the public. Not even the locals can swim in those other 9 sacred lakes. There's a lot of history here, and there's even said to be a giant octopus that swims in these waters. So always be looking behind you when you're in the lagoons. There are 3 main things that you must do in Karan, and the first 2 can be done in one day trip. There's actually a shipwreck and Pass Island day tour, where you start off the day by free diving into a sunken Japanese warship, if you can hold your breath long enough. And secondly, you end off your day here at Pass Island, one of the most beautiful islands that I think I've ever seen. Nothing but beautiful white sand beaches surrounded by cerulean blue waters and a whole lot of nothing to do. They even had an island wiener dog. That was definitely the cherry on top to Pass Island. And the third thing that everyone will end up doing if they go to Karan is, of course, the lagoon tour. The lagoons here are out of this world. There's many island tours that are offered, but the one that I took me to these beautiful lagoons. It took me to the incredible Kalagaman Lake, and they even showed us a secret lake where we had to swim under one of the rock structures to access. If the weather is right, you will never be able to find something more beautiful than this, period. Now, guys, let us find out who has pushed Karan off of the number 1 spot in last year's top 10. Drumroll, please. Number 1 goes to the unbelievable island of Siargao. Siargao, also known as Cloud 9, is surfer's paradise. Right off of the ocean, you're getting incredible waves crashing in on the shore. This is actually where I had my first ever real successful surfing day. And for me, it was a very rewarding experience. My nipples were a little chafed, but we're not going to get into that. And luckily, the surfing is just scratching the surface. There is so much that you can do here in Siargao. There's some great hostels, some amazing hotels, and they even have 6-star resorts like Dedon Island Resort. This is a truly world-class luxury experience. There's the emerald green Supa Lagoon, the incredible rock pools of Magupunko. Probably didn't say that right, but we're going to move on. And the awesome thing is, Siargao is just one island that's surrounded by other beautiful islands. There's Naked Island, which, by the way, it's probably frowned upon to be naked there. There's Guyam Island, and several others that will all be fit into your island hopping tour, so that's for you to explore and find out. And it's actually becoming a lot easier to get here. You can actually fly direct now from Manila using Cebu Pacific, and you get there in like an hour and 45. Good nightlife, chill vibes all in one place. This is Siargao, and that is the reason it is my #1 must-see place in the Philippines. That is the top 10 to the Philippines. I hope it helped you with your upcoming trip, and if you are coming, then you'll definitely want to check out my free preview to my 5 hot tips to the Philippines. It'll be a great head start for you on your trip. Look no further, check the link in the bio, and if you're new to my channel here, I would invite you to become part of Team Get Lost by hitting that subscribe button. So guys, without further ado, let's get lost again in the next one.
Hey there, my beautiful travelers, and welcome to the Philippines. One of the most beautiful countries in this world. Full of stunning white beaches, islands, amazingly friendly people, great sunsets, and loads of corals and sea life. In case you don't know me, my name is Travel Gretel. I'm a travel YouTuber and I've visited the Philippines 5 times since 2015. At first, being part of a couple and also as a female solo traveler. This place is never getting boring. In this video, I will share my 10 favorite spots with you. I will put information about all of these places, recommendations for hotels and tour companies in the description box down below. If you're new to my channel, be sure to check out some other videos as well. And you're always very welcome to subscribe. But now, without further ado, let's dive right in. The starter of this list is Bohol. Of course, a very famous touristy hotspot, but most people stay on the west side of the island. I suggest, if you want to dodge the crowds, to go more east and stay in the Anda or Guindoman region. From here you can visit the Candy High rice fields, this stunning waterfall which is actually the tallest on the island, and you can see the cave paintings. I also loved this hidden gem. Just about 20 minutes walk from my hotel in Guindoman. A beautiful valley view with no one else there and just a stunning sunset. It reminded me of one of those places I love most in this country, but we will get to that later. Number 9 is Siquijor, aka the Witch Island. This place is becoming slightly more popular over the last years, mainly because of its beautiful nature and relaxed vibes, with Cambugahay Falls being one of the must-see places here. If you're up for some adrenaline, go for the cliff dive at Salangdong Beach and visit the old enchanted Baliti tree where the white spirit lives. As long as you don't hurt them, they won't hurt you. Also, a day trip to Apo Island is highly recommended, especially if you're determined to see the large sea turtles and some of the good corals over here. If you want to know why this place is famous for witchcraft, I would highly suggest asking the locals for it. Everyone will tell you something slightly different, but it will be fascinating for sure and will give you an insight in how life here differs from other places in the Philippines. And no, I'm not going to tell you because I'm not going to spoil it for you. I want to encourage you to go here, have a good time, and find it out for yourself. Next up is the surfing capital of the Philippines. Also highly recommended if you are like me and you have no idea how to surf. This island is situated at the southeast side of the country and covered in palm trees. In General Luna, you will find everything you want. Lots of good accommodations, lots of good food from local to international, and lots of interesting things to do and see. Because it's a surface paradise, there's a real laid-back vibe here. Rent a motorcycle for the entire day and just go around the island. Stop over at Madison Bridge for the tree swing and continue on this very relaxing little boat ride to the little lagoon at the end. There is also a bigger one, which is Sakba Lagoon, with beautiful clear water and this very nice cliff dive just around the corner. After the lagoon, I would highly recommend you to visit this island as well. You can buy it all in one package. Another day trip goes to the islands in front of General Luna for a really fun trip. And of course, if surfing is your thing, you must put your skills to the test here.
When it comes to stunning views, nothing in the country beats Coron. There are lagoons and lakes surrounded by limestone, which makes up for the most iconic views. There's a lot hidden under the surface here, like fish and corals, but also these Japanese shipwrecks that sank during the Second World War. Some are accessible by free diving, others are only accessible by those who have a diver's license. If you are a diver, go to Barracuda Lake as well, where you can have this weird thermocline experience. A layer of sweet and a layer of salt water stay on top of one another. Where they meet, the water heats up to 37 degrees Celsius. It's honestly the weirdest experience. As my boyfriend put it, it's like being back in the uterus. If you're done island hopping, you can climb Mount Delara as well, which is said to have amazing views, but I basically remember the rain we encountered that day. But still, it was a lot of fun. Number 6 might be the first surprise in my list, since most people haven't heard of this tiny little village somewhere in northeast Palawan. It is actually the perfect escape from El Nido. In case you don't know El Nido, the surroundings here are amazing, but very busy. And the town itself is basically opening new hotels, bars, and restaurants every single week, or at least that's the feeling I got there. Sibeltan is about 45 minutes away from El Nido, and it's just perfect if you love some peace and quiet like me. There are only a handful of resorts in here, all built along the beach and made of wood. It's all native style, and it's definitely not expensive. Sunsets are stunning, and dinner is very romantic with the waves at the back. This is perfect for couples. I love to do the tours in El Nido from here, but Sibeltan itself has a lot to offer as well.